All right. I'm here early in the morning for me, 7:30 Eastern. I got really tired last night. Usually I do my live streams like in the evening, and I was like, oh, fuck this. So yeah. I'm here. I'm looking into things. Everything is a little bit green, going green. It's probably going to get green because we got that crypto summit in the White House tomorrow. I guess I'm expected to go a little greener. I was expecting it to go a little bit green a couple of days ago on Tuesday, and it did because of Trump's speech. I was expecting Litecoin to be at least a little bit more than this. I'm hoping to swing trade some Litecoin, but it won't do any good if it doesn't swing. Other than that, yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. Fear and greed index, fear is still at a 25, so it is pretty low. It's probably going to get up to like 30 or something and tomorrow, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now is the time to buy. When the more fear there is, the better the buying opportunities are out there. So get in, look in, find some good cryptos, and yo, let's go for it. Let's become millionaires in 2025. So yeah, I'm looking through things. IRS drafting plans to slash as much of half of its 90,000 person workforce, leaving the agency dysfunctional. Oh, who gives a shit? 90,000 person workforce. Now it's weird because I thought that Biden hired an extra 80,000 IRS employees. So I had assumed that the IRS workforce was much higher than 90,000. Although a few weeks ago, I think I read an article that Trump had already slashed 10,000 or something like that. Roughly 7,000 probationary IRS employees, roughly 1 year or less of service will be laid off in the organization in January. 1 year less, I don't know. So, but yeah, good riddance. IRS, man. Funny stuff, yeah. I don't know if you guys heard. I'm sure you did. I was laughing like crazy. Democratic Representative Al Green removed from the House chamber after disrupting Trump's address to Congress. If you didn't see that, you should go take a look. Take a look at his, address to Congress, where they called the Sergeant at Arms to eject Mr. Green after he stood up and interjected as Trump spoke to lawmakers. So, yeah, it was pretty funny. But other stuff that went on in Trump's speech, which has me concerned, of course, he said it twice, I believe twice, where he said that there will be some disruptions, some short-term disruptions in the coming months. So that doesn't sound too good, at least for the short term. Now is the time to just secure yourself. If you don't have any savings, depending on what your situation is. Obviously, if you live with your parents and you're not really paying many bills, it doesn't really matter. But, if you have hardly any savings, or if you have like hardly any savings plus credit card debt and stuff like that, and then you're putting like $500 into crypto a week or something, you should try to like separate that. Maybe cut it in half, put it $250 into crypto, and maybe $250 into a high interest savings account just to have in some emergency, because there could be a lot of job losses in the coming couple of months. So things are going to go worse before they get better. So that's something to really think about. What else we got going on here?
President Trump says that the U.S. will move forward with what he calls a crypto strategic reserve. Now, this is a shift in language from what was previously being referred to as a stockpile. The difference being a reserve implies actively trading cryptocurrencies, while a stockpile involves holding the digital assets the U.S. previously acquired through things like criminal seizures. Trump said the reserve would include Ripple, Solana, and Cardano, then followed up in another post saying that Bitcoin and Ether will be the heart of the reserve. Now, this move is in line with actions that the president took earlier in his presidency when he ordered the creation of a working group led by his crypto advisor, David.
Yeah, one thing I don't understand, why are there so many cryptos in the reserve? Why you know, XRP, Cardano, and so on. I can understand, you know, Bitcoin and ETH, of course, maybe Solana, but I don't know. It's like what reasons behind it. Like I've seen people say that too, and like just giving that some thought.
David Sachs to consider a strategic stockpile of digital assets. But it also raised some concern among those in the crypto industry who believe that the U.S. should only use Bitcoin for its reserve. Next, the White House plans to host its first crypto.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. Only Bitcoin, maybe some other ones. Obviously, I'm a Caspa maxi, so Caspa should be included in that list, at least from my point of view. But I don't get the long-term strategy for putting Cardano in things like that. I don't know.
Crypto Summit on Friday. David Sachs said that guests will include CEOs and investors, as well as the president's working group on digital assets. Trump will host the event while Sachs will preside as chair. The industry largely came out in support of Trump through contributions and endorsements after he campaigned on crypto as an issue. Last, stablecoin issuer Tether announced a new chief financial officer as part of a transparency initiative. Tether says that Simon M.C. Williams joins the firm after 20 years of leading audits of investment management firms. The company says that with M.C. Williams' appointment, Tether is committing to complete a full audit. Now, some of the past have raised concerns about Tether's stability and its transparency around its U.S. dollar reserves. Tether stands as the largest stablecoin by market cap, but this comes as U.S. lawmakers are prioritizing pushing stablecoin legislation through Congress, a move that some have said could favor U.S.-based issuers like Circle. Now, earlier this year, Tether announced that it would be moving its headquarters to El Salvador.
Moving its headquarters to El Salvador. Oh, okay. I almost didn't catch that. Interesting. Moving its headquarters to El Salvador. Other stuff is going on. What's going on? Michael Saylor, good old Michael Saylor. I've been following this guy quite a bit lately. Michael Saylor, digital assets could unlock $100 trillion for the U.S. Man, that sounds like something cool. I have this right here.
Support for a U.S. crypto reserve over the weekend. Our next guest is one of Wall Street's most vocal Bitcoin bulls, recently meeting with members of the House Financial Services Committee to discuss what he calls his digital assets framework to help the U.S. become the global crypto leader. Joining us now in a CNBC exclusive is Strategy co-founder, executive chairman Michael Saylor. Strategy announcing this weekend it delivered a Bitcoin gain of $2.6 billion so far this year. Michael, it's paid to keep buying no matter what. My question is, how much are you involved? Because I know you've met with members of the Trump administration, cabinet, family members, I think the president himself. So are you involved in advising around this strategic crypto reserve?
I've met with a bunch of senators on the Democratic and the Republican side, a bunch of Congress people, a few members of cabinet, you know, a few members of the administration, and anybody that wants to talk. You know me, for the last 4.5 years, I'm willing to talk about Bitcoin to anybody, anywhere in the world, every day.
Yes, and we appreciate that, talking to our audience about it. So were you surprised that in the announcement over the weekend, the president mentioned other smaller coins like XRP, Solana, and Cardano, as well as Bitcoin for the strategic crypto fund?
Yep.
I'm not surprised. I mean, I think there's no way to interpret this other than this is bullish for Bitcoin and is bullish for the entire U.S. crypto industry. You know,
at least it's bullish,
there are conservatives that view the right path forward is just a Bitcoin-only policy because Bitcoin is a commodity, an asset without an issuer, a neutral asset, and there's no controversy. But the president's adopted a more liberal economic policy, and that's his right. He's president of the United States.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you would have preferred it, though, if it was a Bitcoin-only fund.
ADG, thanks for pointing out. What about now?
I believe that the best thing for the country is to move forward with an enlightened, progressive policy toward digital assets. I think it's worth $100 trillion to the United States, and ultimately there's 4 different assets that people need to come to grips with. A digital commodity like Bitcoin, an asset without an issuer, backed by digital power. A digital currency like a stable coin, backed by a fiat currency equivalent. A digital security, an asset with an issuer, backed by a stock or a bond, so we can tokenize Wall Street. And then
the desktop audio level on the yellow. Yeah. Hey, you got it, man. I had no idea. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that in mind next time.
Digital token, digital power, a digital currency like a stable coin, backed by a fiat currency equivalent, a digital security, an asset with an issuer backed by a stock or a bond so we can tokenize Wall Street, and then a digital token, which is an asset with an issuer that's backed by digital utility. I think everybody's trying to come to grips with that taxonomy, and as the market gets more educated, we're going to see more progressive, constructive policy engagement.
But as it relates to the crypto fund, I guess, one thing people are going to try to figure out, and what the White House is going to have to explain, is why we need that. I get that you think the price of Bitcoin is going up sharply, and you've definitely put your money where your mouth is, but it is still a speculative asset. So is it just about investment gains for the U.S. government, or is there another strategic reason, say like oil, we have that, where we would need this?
The key to keep in mind is that Bitcoin is not competing with the dollar. It's competing with international real estate, global equities, expensive money managers on Wall Street, and any long-range investment that somebody makes. And so right now we're about $2 trillion in Bitcoin. It's going to 20 trillion, then it's going to 200 trillion, then it's growing 20% a year. And that capital is coming from overseas. It's coming from China, from Russia, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from the 20th century to the 21st century. So what's compelling about it is if the United States takes a position in the emerging crypto economy, if it buys up 10, 20% of the Bitcoin network, we're going to pay off the national debt. And so why wouldn't that be in the interest of the United States?
I guess the question would be, we're dealing with instruments that historically, Michael, have had drawdowns of, you name it, I mean, 20, 40, 50%. How much risk, or what would that do to sentiment if, in fact, that was a paper loss, even momentarily, for the government?
Yeah, that's what I've been concerned about that too, because especially the Trump coin, and basically crypto in general, because Bitcoin and crypto is cyclic, right? Every 4 years it skyrockets to the moon and then it just crashes back down. Bitcoin, crashes back down by like 80% or something like that. All the others crash down like 95%. So people are going to be like a little bit disenchanted in 2026. So we'll see how that plays out.
I don't think anybody's ever lost money in the Bitcoin network holding 4 years.
Yeah, true. That's what we got to explain to everybody. If you hold for the long term, 4 years, you're not going to lose money. So, yeah.
United States' best investments are Alaska, Mexico, California, and Louisiana, and Manhattan. We're still holding them hundreds of years later. It's a nation state. So presumably, you want to buy Bitcoin, you want to hold it for 100 years. You know where the future's going. The AIs, the foreigners, the Europeans, the 20th century capitalists.
That is a good argument right there. I was just thinking 4 years. He's saying you want to hold it for 100 years. Yeah, I mean, that is a very good argument right there. Yeah. Yeah, like your grandchildren will be like incredibly wealthy. Yeah.
We're all going to cyberspace, and so the United States has the ability to buy this for a nickel and pay off the national debt. It'll be the greatest economic program of the 21st century for this country.
How do you think it gets funded?
I mean, I think that I'd leave that to the president's working group. They'll eventually decide what they want to do and the scale they want to do it. There are a dozen people on it, the head of the Treasury, the SEC, the CFTC, Commerce, the Attorney General. The president, I'm sure, will opine. Yeah. I'm sure you'll have leadership from Tim Scott and French Hill, both the Republicans and the Democrats. Everybody's going to have their opinions. It's above my pay grade to decide.
Yeah, take the savings from Doge and put it into the strategic reserve. Yeah.
But what I would say is this: we bought Manhattan for 60 guilders. It was a good trade. We bought Alaska for $6 million. It was a good trade. We paid $40 million for 75% of this country. It's a good trade. We can afford it. We should buy the future.
I mean, and you've done this before. You've talked about this before, but comparing a cryptocurrency digital asset that is still considered highly speculative to American cities and states.
Well, Bitcoin's not highly speculative to the 500 million people in the crypto economy. It's the best performing asset in the past 15 years, and generally the best performing asset every single year. My company's gone from a $250 million investment to almost a $50 billion position in 48 months. So clearly, there's enormous economic energy in this asset. It is probably the most certain thing in the financial universe if you have a long time horizon.
I have another sort of, and this might be like a legal question, but as this becomes more adopted, and if we're talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve or crypto reserve, how do you prevent insider trading, front running? You know, there's no insider trading laws because they're not securities. So Trump can just, you know, tweet about X coin and someone can front run it.
The reason that there's so much support for a commodity like Bitcoin is it is an asset without an issuer. No entity controls it. No entity runs the network. No entity can change the protocol. No entity has enough power to impact the market trading of that protocol. That's actually why most of the focus is on the digital commodity. And that's what makes Bitcoin special. Satoshi was the insider. He left 1 million Bitcoin for all of humanity forever and walked away without ever benefiting, and that's what makes Bitcoin special.
Do you think that any other asset should be in the strategic crypto reserve?
You know, I think if you're looking out over the next 100 years trying to figure out how do you capitalize a nation state or a country, what you want is a digital commodity. But if you have a sovereign wealth fund, then I think it's well within the rights of the leader of the nation to decide to put, you know, proprietary assets, securities, tokens, and the like into it. And of course, the decision will eventually be made through a fairly comprehensive political process over the next 6 months. We have till July 22nd when the digital assets framework and recommendations from the executive order are due on the president's desk. It should be interesting to watch what happens between now and then.
Yeah, probably some red days for the next few months, but July 22nd, I would imagine that we're at least, if not before that date, but after the day, we're going to be pumping like crazy.
Well, Michael, we certainly appreciate you coming on to talk us through how you're thinking about all this. As one of the biggest proponents, Michael Saylor from Strategy.
So what else we got going on here? Yeah, this is an interesting graph from Cointelegraph. Very, very, very interesting here. So we have ETF applications. We have Made in USA. We have mentioned by Trump. We have blockchain projects attending the White House. So, yeah, I mean, this is obviously very interesting. I guess this right here is included in every single circle, right? XRP and Cardano. XRP and freaking Cardano. The two that I mentioned, like, I don't know why they're in the restricted. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah. You know, I mean, obviously they're going to pump, so they're not bad plays, of course. I think everything here is definitely going to pump. I recently got back into Litecoin just because, you know, the Made in the USA thing, the ETF, right? And because once upon a time, I held a lot of Litecoin and I lost most of it too because it was an exchange that just closed down. It was like back in 2013, 2014, and so on. But yeah, I was into Litecoin for a couple of cycles. I didn't think I was going to be into it this cycle again, but now I am. But yeah, a lot of stuff. I'm into Ondo, and yeah, so some good plays here if you want to check out some, coins that you want to invest in. Other than that, what's going on? I just found this funny. I found it just like right before the live stream. Bitcoin Q1. What's going on, Mohammed? Yeah, thoughts on Caspi potential. Caspi is one of my absolute favorite plays on KRC20. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do another. It's been a while, like month or two or more since I've done a KRC20 specific video. Look, it's pumping. Like Nacho is still down. It's 8 million. Yeah, Caspi is totally 1000x potential. I mean, look at it. Look at it, dude. Maybe 500x if the KRC20 doesn't get integrated into all the other centralized exchanges, then we'll see what happens. But the potential in a lot of these, Nacho, Kango, Caspi, Croak. Croak is one of my favorites. The potential is enormous, 500 to 1000x. But we'll see. It's hard to say. Such a wide range, but I can't imagine it being less than like 100x, right? 100x will put this at a 200 million market cap. But if any token is on a KRC20 network is going to go well into the billions, it's going to be Nacho and Caspi and maybe Croak. So, like well into, past 10 billion. But, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Caspi is definitely one of my favorites. Other than that, yeah, we're going up again. This is total crypto market cap. You see, this is when we went up the other day after Trump started tweeting about a bunch of stuff. Then we went back down the next day, and now we're going up again. We're probably going to go up a little bit more because of the crypto summit in the White House tomorrow. Same thing with total crypto market cap, excluding top 10. So we're going to be going up. But yeah, by the way, click that like button and subscribe. Link in the description below. Join my community. We get some good plays. We get some advanced notifications on the exchanges and a whole bunch of good stuff that we work on, building software to find shit to make us crypto rich. That's the name of the community, Crypto Rich. Anyways, I'm going to sign off for now. I don't know if I'm going to be getting on tonight. I was going to get on last night. Like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I was really tired last night, and I was like, oh. And I was like, let me just do it in the morning. I feel energized this morning, but I won't see. Maybe make a video about KRC20 coins, but we'll see. I'll catch you guys laters.